Hey Digi friends, what's up? It's Sammy here from Digivangelism, your friendly neighborhood screen printer. Not really, that's a joke because we're kind of trying to figure out how to do the shirts in the best way possible so that they last the longest and that people like them and that you can have millions of options of shirts for your digital ministry pleasure. Stay tuned on that one. It's only August 2020. We've got a lot of work to do. By now there could be like tons and millions of options for you. I don't really know. Stay tuned to our social media to stay updated. Anyway, today we are here to share with you 7 ways that you can share pictures of your people online. Now, this topic is really interesting because this topic is also a response to someone that was asking a question of us. And they had thousands, literally thousands of photos, high quality photos of their people in their database, and they just didn't know what to post. They didn't know what to capture in the pictures with. And we were like, oh, this is a unicorn. It is. Unicorn. What do we mean by that? We have encountered a lot of churches that just don't think it's worth it for them to be on social media. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of, energy, knowledge, maybe even money to be effective on social media as a church. So we get it. We get that some churches are in that boat. We also encounter a lot of churches that, had good intentions to start on social media, but eventually their accounts kind of fell dormant because other things were fighting for their time, and we get it. Your job is important and you have a lot of duties to take care of. We also encountered churches that are active on social media, but they share about 0 pictures of their people or any faces whatsoever. It's like they just went crazy on Canva and just started typing all of their, announcements for all of their events onto little graphics with text and these images that they post on their Instagram and their Facebook. They don't have any faces. They're just words. Which is fine. It's a great way to, you're being active online. That's a start. But we really believe that there is a lot of benefit to sharing photos of your people. We'll get into that. But to find find a church that has these photos of their people, is willing to share them, is willing to be active online, and just doesn't know what to say. To us, that felt like a unicorn situation, and we made this video to help other unicorns just like them. Now, the other really, really neat thing about this video is that we actually have 7 examples to show to you of churches living out these methods. And we are just eternally grateful for the churches that allowed us to use their images, their church names in our video to share with you so that you can check them out online and just get a feel for different ways of doing it if you are not sure how to share photos of your people. So thank you to all of these churches. Let's get started. Before we get started sharing the good stuff with you, we wanted to say one word about something you should not do with your photos. Do not use every single one of your photos as an invitation post. Please. Now, the key word on that one is every single one. It's fine to have invitation posts, and you need them, really. You have events going on that you want people to go to. You want people to come to the event. You want people to come to know Jesus throughout the event. If they don't already know that they are loved, they are valuable, they are God's child, this is really important, right? You need to tell them about the things that you're doing. We get that. We get that. But not every single post. Please? Please. We said please. Please don't. Now, the reason for that is if you are constantly inviting people, now it might seem like a good thing because you're always telling them that they are welcome, but in reality, you're constantly asking something of them. You want them to take their time and their person and bring it to your event, or if it's online, to log in. Something that might not be comfortable for them, right? You are just asking, please, give us your attention, give us your presence, give us your money, whatever it is. You really should spend some time giving to your people, even your people online. Consider, how can you provide value as a church, improve someone's day, improve someone's life in some way by giving them something rather than always asking something of them. So these examples are great ways to do that. Let's get into method number 1. Method number 1, share an event overview. We're starting with a simple one here from Tryon Presbyterian Church in North Carolina, Tryon, North Carolina, and they have a picture here posted of just a small group gathering together on a lawn. Now, a year ago, small group of people gathering together outside, probably the most insignificant thing that's happening for your church that week. With all the hustle and bustle of other events, worship services, and activities, a couple people gathering, maybe it's not a big deal.
Insert COVID 2020.
And now, gathering people in person in a small group outside is maybe the most monumental thing you have done in months. It's huge. And so, definitely, either way, whether it's big or small, share these events online. Tryon said that their event was Kicking the COVID Cootie Blues, which we just love. Another thing we love about this post is that there was no join us next time, or sign up for our small group, or, we'll be back together on Sunday to go to worship together. And that's not bad, really, but just to have a valuable post that says, here's something we did, we're inviting you into our community by showing you exactly what was going on, is providing value by giving the people on the outside of your community a little peek into the inside. What is it like? Who shows up? What do these people look like? Can I see myself there? Now, I'm not saying that these people are gonna come just because you post event pictures, and they're gonna join your church and be your new members and all that. I can't promise that, but I can promise that they're gonna get more and more comfortable seeing what you show them over time. This might mean they get a little more comfortable with the faces that are there and might be a little more willing to talk to them. This might mean they get a little more comfortable with what happens at each of your events, and they might be willing to try one out. It might just mean that they get a little more comfortable with this whole Jesus thing and are willing to give him a shot too. Method number 2, highlight at-home faith formation. Now, this is one of 2 posts from St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Minnesota, and this post from them showcases the way their people were engaging in Zoom worship from home, even though they were separated due to the coronavirus. Now, we love this because it reminds people that you can have community, you can have fellowship, even if you're separate. So for them, it was worship, and they were connecting people by showing a couple different photos of a couple different members engaging in Zoom at home. But it doesn't have to just be worship. It could be prayer time, or, maybe someone has a sacred meditative space that they use, and you show a picture of that and share about how one of your members engages with their faith at home. Maybe some of your kids do some faith-filled activities or watch a faith-filled video at home a lot. For some people, going for a walk could be their spiritual practice, and just getting to know what your people do and being able to share some examples of it online could be huge, not only for your members who can be reminded that, I can experience my faith other than on Sunday mornings, but also for those outsiders, once again, looking in and seeing, there are so many ways to engage with God. Maybe I should give one of them a shot. Method number 3, reiterate your beliefs, your mission, your values. Now, this is a post from Christ Church Cathedral in Houston, Texas, and it shows 2 people overlooking the city with shirts that read, God is in the midst of the city. And Christ Church uses this photo to share their beliefs and their welcome. They remind all of their followers that this church is open to all races, ages, socioeconomic statuses, sexual orientations, and gender identities. All people are welcome here. Now, you might think that this type of post is unnecessary. People don't need to hear my mission, they don't need to hear my welcome, they've heard it before, they already know. The thing is, you already know, because you are behind the scenes. You are exposed to that information way more than people on the outside, but also way more than your members and regular attendees. Highlighting this information on a monthly or weekly basis, it might seem really redundant to you, but to them, it's really good reinforcement. It reminds your members and your people who you are as a community, and it gives them the verbiage, the words, to be able to share it with other people. When they hear this information over and over and over, it really does drill into their minds so they can better share and welcome people. It also is really clear to people on the outside who find that post that for them it's the first exposure to your welcome to them personally. But for you, it's like the 12th post you made that year about it, which feels like excessive. But for them, they're seeing that they are welcome. So it does not hurt to over and over again reiterate your beliefs, mission, or welcome. This really just reinforces it for everyone involved, which is always a great practice in any type of organization, but especially so in a church. So thank you, Christ Church Cathedral of Houston, Texas. Method number 4, tell about your members. This one comes at us from Little Farms UCC in River Ridge, Louisiana. Thank you, Little Farms. So Little Farms has started doing this Member of the Month thing where they would post a picture of one of their members each month on church bulletin board, but they'd also share it on social media so that everyone could get to know everyone a little bit better. We loved this idea. It was great. And actually, when we reached out to see if we could use their idea or share it with you at least, and then they reached out to the member that was featured in the picture that we've showed you, the member actually gave some additional advice that we are now sharing with you on behalf of them to, up your sharing pictures of people game. Her advice is to consider consulting Facebook to find the right image to showcase. So if you're working with someone to showcase them for some reason, it doesn't have to be Member of the Month, it could be that you're just celebrating something, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but you need to find a good photo of them, and they're like, I don't take any pictures of myself. you could actually go on Facebook or have them go on their Facebook and search through their profile pictures or photos they are tagged in to find the right image to use and share with your church. So this is what Little Farms did, and it worked out really well for them. Take that advice if it's helpful for you. Thanks, Colleen, for sharing. Another neat thing that Little Farms does when they share this member of the month is that they add in a few fun tidbits about them, which we love because it really just gives people more connection points, more things to ask each other about. So people know now that Colleen is an avid sports fan, so maybe when there's a big game, they know to call up Colleen and say, "What'd you think of that?" Or maybe when they see her for the first time after seeing this post, they can say, "Okay, you're an avid sports fan, but what kind of sports?" There are a lot of options. So it just gives people somewhere to start, gives them a connection, and so we really recommend that if you are going to highlight your members for any reason. Method number 5, behind the scenes leader update. Now this one's St. Stephen's again, thank you, St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Minnesota. St. Stephen's is up again because we just couldn't resist sharing this image of their priest, who gave a little behind the scenes snapshot of them attending a virtual conference at the start of COVID. Now their leader shared a picture of themselves, and it had their whole setup there and a checklist of all the things they had brought to this virtual conference, and even had a little bit of humor mixed in there to really get people to know who they are behind the scenes. Now this is good for a lot of reasons, but one that we really want to point out to you is that when you share leader posts, you are more than likely going to get more interaction on those posts than any other kind of posts that you do. People love to see their leaders, especially behind the scenes video or image of their leaders doing something that they don't get to see every day. So if St. Stephen's posts a picture of their leader and their leader gets a lot more likes and shares and comments than the typical post that they might do, this will just help more and more people see that post. That's the Facebook algorithm thing, right? The more engagement the post gets, the more people it can reach. And so this is good because more people get to know who their leader is. More people, once again, see and maybe feel a little more comfortable over time with this leader, and maybe will give them a shot more than they would if they never even heard or saw of them. Now again, I'm not promising that people are going to flock to your church because you post a picture of your pastor or minister or priest, but it's a great practice, and the more eyes that are on that image, the more eyes that are on your profile, the more people that have a chance to get to know the love of Jesus that you are hopefully sharing regularly online. Another wonderful aspect of this post worth pointing out is the many ways that once again people could form connections with that leader by seeing some of their behind the scenes practices. So this leader's personality and their schedule were pointed out. So some people who might not know anything about this virtual event that the preacher was attending will get to know a little bit more about what this leader does behind the scenes. Other people saw a sacred space set up maybe for the first time. They thought to themselves, "Oh, I can bring that book or that candle or whatever it is into my desk area and make it a little bit more spiritual than it has been in the past." And still others got to see a little bit of their leader's humor when they found out that they were particularly fond of peppermint tea, and maybe that will even come back to them in a Christmas gift sometime. You never know. Regardless, connections are made, and connections are what community is all about. So thank you, St. Stephen's, for letting us feature you. Method number 6, showcase what matters to your people. This one comes at you from Center Church of South Hadley in South Hadley, Massachusetts. Now, we were really excited to connect with this church. We were thrilled to see the ways they are speaking out against racial injustice in our world and just speaking up on behalf of the marginalized. This church had multiple photos posted of multiple vigils that they took part in, with members holding up signs that said, "All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter," "Prayer plus action equals change," and "History has its eyes on you." Now, quick skim of their Instagram feed, their social media feed, and you can see that this community deeply cares about racial justice, which we really love. But whatever matters to your community, we hope that matters to your community, but whatever it is that your community is just really on fire about, that needs to be showcased online. Now, if you can't think of anything that your community is really excited about, that might be your first problem. It might be worth having those conversations with your leaders and really nailing down, what is your mission? Why do you exist? Once you know, or if you already know, make sure people on the outside, people that are just kind of looking in from the front porch that is your Instagram feed or your Facebook page, make sure that they can see what matters to you. Maybe even explain why it matters and why it matters to you through the lens of a Christian faith. Thank you so much, Center Church of South Hadley. It's beautiful. Keep up the good work. Method number 7, the members in daily life post. We love this one from St. Peter's, Chelsea in New York, New York. St. Peter's really reminded us that it is okay to share the daily life stuff with your online followers. And yes, we totally mean something like non-faith related at all. Just sharing behind the scenes, not only for your leader, but for your people as well. In this post, you will see one of their members being featured for having a haircut. I mean, it might seem insignificant. It might even be a little insignificant, whatever you're sharing, but who can you celebrate? Who can you acknowledge? Who can you give an update about? Did someone just make a big modification to their home that they're excited about? Or did one of your youth just get a new summer job? Or did someone have a good nap that day? I mean, it doesn't have to be huge. Once again, this is an opportunity for a connection point between your people. Not only between people following the page and the person being showcased, but also between people in the comments. So they posted a picture of their member saying, you know, this person got a haircut. What are you up to this summer? That is an opportunity for people to comment. Oh, well, this is my update. Here's what's going on with me. Maybe it's focused more on the day where you say, this person had a really great nap today. How about you? What was really great about today for you? And that just opens up the door for the insignificant, and people can share that insignificant, connect with one another, build community. Community is what it's all about. St. Peter's Chelsea even leveled up a little bit by creating a church-specific hashtag that they can put on every single post that they share about what one of their members are doing behind the scenes in their daily life. Now, if you don't know anything about hashtags, just don't even worry about all that. But if you do, consider putting a hashtag on each post like this. And then if someone clicks the hashtag, they can just scroll through and see what all your members are up to. See who goes to this church and see if they can see themselves there too. Okay, team, it's
bonus method time.
Now, there was one more church that didn't quite want their picture or their church name to be shared, but we loved their idea, so we're going to tell it to you so that maybe you can make use of it too. Bonus tip, share a lesson. The idea behind this method is that you share a little preview into a lesson of the week. So it could be, you know, Sunday school lesson, a youth group lesson, a Bible study, a small group, even the sermon for the week, just a little more information. Or maybe for someone that's not going to watch your whole worship video, if you put that online, maybe it's a 2-minute explanation about it, or even just a quick post reminding people of something that they learned that week, or something that they're going to learn the next week. Now, this is just another opportunity for connection points. If you're showcasing a Bible study or a youth group, it gives people a little insight into the type of things you talk about. You also never know who you could be affecting with the knowledge that you share. Could this be the first time someone reads about Jesus or reads that they are loved? Could this be the first interaction that someone online has with you that gives them the encouragement to try out your small group, which gives them the encouragement to join your church, which gives them the encouragement to grow in their own faith life, whatever that looks like for them? We like to believe that these days that is more likely than not. So consider sharing a lesson with your people, sharing an update from your Bible study, or even sharing a piece of your worship service online. That's it for your seven tips of ways you can share your people online. We hope it was helpful for you. If so, we would love for you to subscribe and like it below. Share it with a friend, even if that's helpful. Share it with your church leaders. Today we brought the knowledge, and now it's your turn to put it into action. Peace.